problem is you can't tap an extra summoning sequence. What was that?
Probably should take that card out.
Yeah, maybe double check that.
I think I have a lot of strong ETBs because I have a lot of.
Oh, okay.
recursion,
We'll keep
so
it
it's
in
like getting-
Yeah, keep it in. It'll be right. All right, dude. You wanna settle this score?
Let's settle these scores.
Podcast
Take
edition.
me to accounting.
Do you like math? Well, hang around, because this week we're talking math. Episode 5.
Episode
We're
5.
getting there.
We're doing it.
Fucking getting there slowly.
We've never sounded better, I
I'm
hope.
I'm struggling to keep up with all the editing. So there's a lot going on. Let's crack with the nice, just general intro questions, Nick. Favorite play style at the table. What do you if you had to pick like a way to play your decks and build your decks for the next 10 years, what would you
I'd
pick?
probably just do like chaos spell slinging.
Yeah, okay.
Just
yeah.
random chance chaos spell slinging.
I guess
love
you've
it.
had a couple of decks
Yeah.
that's fit that theme now.
I'd go with the old Izzet's really good. I haven't done like a Rakdos theme one, but I think my favorite color might be maybe black, red, blue.
Yeah, okay.
Black's got some whack.
Lots of good commanders.
You get
in that.
everything. You get a little Rakdos, a little bit of Izzet.
Just no ramp.
Just no ramp. Oh wow.
Dude, I really like Battle Cruiser.
Okay.
I like the idea of everyone just building up a massive army and then just smashing it into each
And
other.
then we just cyclonic rift.
Yeah. The thing about Battle Cruiser is it has so many weaknesses.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that style of play, but it's a trash style.
Because you turn the whole table against you. Everyone's like, "How are we gonna deal with that?"
Yeah. I guess that when I first got introduced to Magic, it was in high school, and kids were just like, it was very hands off. There was no internet or anything like that, so there was no like strategy.
Yeah.
So like the whole like theme of the game and everything with like having soldiers and it was just like, all right, you build an army, and it's that like idea is just stuck with me forever, and it's a shit tactic. But here I am.
Well,
Like,
here I am, 10 years later.
20 years later,
20
dude,
years
still
later.
doing the same dumb shit. All right, let's talk about things that we kind of get upset about or salty about at the table.
Yeah.
Just because like we've touched on
salty
politics.
weeks sometimes.
Yeah,
Not on
yeah.
camera, off camera.
Off camera, we kind of choose the least saltiest of games to play or to show you guys usually. But like, this is the thing where it's like we touch on a little bit in politics, we touch on a little bit with like the social contract and stuff like that. But like, there's just sometimes things that happen that just kind of like will grind your gears. I know we talked on hated mechanics last week with Mill and stuff like that. But what about like what like upsets you just generally at the table when you're playing?
I think it's threat assessment. So like, I'll have the board state, and then it'll get dismantled, and that's fine. And then it just keeps getting dismantled, and then I'm dead deer on the ground, and they're just chopping my antlers off and kicking me down, dude.
Oh my God.
Destroying my soul rings when I'm very much out of the game. And I try to say like, you're destroying an ally now. I'm done. Like, at least let me keep my soul ring.
Yeah.
No. Bang. Slap it out of my hand.
That's I think I know we've definitely touched on this before, but like the threat assessment thing, I think is an experience / knowing each other's deck really well kind of thing.
That was a new deck. That did happen with a new deck I was running, and I just had nothing left. And I was better off I could have just conceded there because I was just done.
Yeah.
I was literally just done. What about you? I think I've seen you get a little bit salty, end of night, not pulling any lands.
Yeah.
Not pulling any lands.
A combination of tired and poor luck really tends to fuck with me.
You get so upset.
Yeah.
Just, no, we're not going to get a land. Oh, no land. No land.
Yeah.
Or it's just the wrong colour.
Listen, I don't know what I've done to Lady Luck, but she does not like me very much.
I think you have some ancestors back in Italy that did some
The
very
Gypsy
heinous war
curse.
crimes.
We're talking about the Gypsy curse. I think I honestly think, the luck, like so standards based on luck. The reason I like Magic is that Magic's meant to be like 60% strategy, 40% luck.
Yeah.
I think that's like the limit of the amount of luck I like in a game.
Yeah.
Because I can't account for bad luck.
Yeah.
And like any game that's based purely on luck, you can play a 3-year-old and the 3-year-old can win. And to me, that's kind of just like, why are you playing it? It's clearly at that point just gambling. So luck's a big factor where I just kind of like, and you know, my decks all have like 36 and above lands. I've done the command zone, you know, how to build your deck thing. I have the right cards in there. But I mean, you've seen it. I'll just have a night of just pulling
Sometimes
trash.
I just say to you, maybe put in this like 4-mana tutor just so it's like double the chances
of getting a land.
Yeah.
So yeah, luck's a big thing that bothers me. Do you
take luck into account for your deck building? Do you ever think like I really need these X amount of cards? Maybe I should put something in to you're staring at me. Put something in to increase those chances.
So
do you ever try to minimize how much luck will play a role in your deck?
I definitely statistically look at it like, okay, I'm drawing 7 cards to start with. It's literally 7% of your deck.
Yeah.
You're pulling extra on, so that's 8. So out of the 8 cards, I look at it like as a 1 in 10 scenario. By turn 3, 1 in 10.
Yeah.
So my land's 36, 37% usually. That means 1 out of every 3 cards should be a land, and I usually run 10 to 15 pieces of ramp.
Yeah.
So then 1 out of 10 should be ramp. So like I do factor them kinds of stats into it a little bit. I hear what you're saying with the tutors and stuff. I definitely in particular decks have like idyllic tutor, plea for guidance, you know, things that can pull out enchantments if it is an enchantment based deck. A lot of the time though, I think it's more the fact that I'm kind of, you know, tutors are expensive. We don't generally run a lot.
No, or it's like a demonic tutor, which is 4 mana.
Yeah, I've got Varaggoth. I've got Varaggoth in all my all my black decks essentially now.
That's a fun one.
So I do try to compensate a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you know, if you put 10 tutors in there, then that's 10 other cards that you may need to grab with a tutor that then aren't in your deck.
That might be in a situation. 10's a lot. That might be that's kind of pumping up to the point where it's like you're getting the same cards every time to pull out the same engine.
Yes, and that kind of approaches combo territory a little bit too much. And dude, that's a great question. I've definitely thought about it. I could probably work on it a little bit more.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. You know, you just assume that you'll get the lands, you'll get the ramp.
Yeah,
you know, based on the numbers, and sometimes that just doesn't
happen. It just doesn't happen. I've definitely had a few games like that. Not lately though. I think I've been doing alright.
Yeah. I think
at the start I was having a lot of trouble. I was like, oh my god.
And I think that was the table more than you necessarily.
Sometimes I get wiped out, and it's just like you're not pulling any of the answers that you need.
Yes, absolutely. What about like the teaming up and things like that, where it's kind of more of a political? I know with the wizards sometimes I'll get a little salty when I've stolen a few threats and then I become the threat. You know, and I've tried to defend myself before. Like, I just want to play the game. It's not about winning. I think I've heard you
say it's like, I'm never going to swing with these big guys, these big 2020s.
I just want to remove it as a
you just want to hold problem. The nukes and not use them.
Yeah, man. It's a nuclear deterrent. I love the idea of mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But yeah, like, what about teaming up? Like, does teaming up
We've done it before. I think it's hilarious. I have no problem. I think it's like, if you're teaming up from the very get-go, then it's like, what are you doing? Might as well play 2 at giant. But we've done it to the point when someone's become such a threat. Or maybe another case was Brian's and Fabian's deck. They were like bouncing off each other so well because Brian's was milling us.
They had the mechanics that kind of favored each other's decks. Yeah,
Fabian was getting milled, and the more stuff he had in his graveyard, the better for him. So it was like, are we just supposed to ignore that? Like, let's get rid of one of them so they're not benefiting.
I think that's a big thing where like unless you've really pissed somebody off, teaming up's never a problem. Unless your board's way more progressed than everybody else.
Maybe we're just a little too overt about teaming up.
Maybe.
But I have the Yuriko deck, which I can't team up with anyone. And it's like, I go, like, all three of you. I've offered you a team. Yeah.
I've offered you team with Yuriko, and you're still like,
I have no problem with, like, the whole table being like, we need to kill Nick.
Yeah.
Like, I fully expect to go that when I come play as Yuriko, because it's
like... But at the same time,
I'm building
you
for it
score pretty well with Yuriko. Yeah,
because I build for it, so I just counter. It's a lot of control and removal.
Yeah, that's a great deck, dude.
Thank you.
The more I see it, the more I'm just like, God damn.
It's a great deck.
Yeah, this guy's a real pain in the ass.
Love this guy's deck.
All right, let's. What do we got? Oh, well, we got the precon. We can discuss the precons now. Brian's played his a couple of times. Fabian has done his twice now.
Which one's Fabian running?
Witherbloom.
Yeah. I think he's put some changes in it, some cool changes.
A few little changes. I've probably played mine the least, although I played it
times. Well, I enjoyed that one.
I think I've done it twice. Yeah.
Silver Quill.
Definitely stack some more pillow fort in there, which the last game I played though, I was literally just clinging every time I put like a bit of pillow fort up, someone would kind of tear it down.
Yeah,
that's part of the game. But I think they've been pretty good so far.
Yeah,
like we've been enjoying them.
I'm starting to feel the beginning of fatigue for my deck because every time I get to the end game, it's so many triggers are happening. Yeah, and it's a little bit solitary. And the guys are starting to be like, "Oh, here we go. Take 10 minutes." So I'm starting to feel the fatigue.
I feel bad feeling angry about it because I'm just you're not doing anything wrong. You're not trying to game the system. You're not solitaring for the sake of it.
I'm just doing what the commander wants me to do.
Just the triggers that are
because I'll have maybe it's like a lot of these are precon cuts. Sunbird's Invocation, Swarm Intelligence, have the commander out, and then I put like Crack in there, so it's like cast, copy, dig out from the deck, cast, Zaffy triggers, scry, make an elemental, deal 10 damage if it's over mana, make another elemental, scry again. Oh wait, I was supposed to cast, then scry, then draw 3, and then draw from. Okay, roll for Crack. So it's starting to become. It's a little fatiguing.
It's great. Like I think like piloting a deck like that is a lot of fun.
Great practice
because you're mentally having to check like constantly what you're doing, and then your mana costs are huge in that deck.
I'd say like the early to mid game is the most where the deck is the most fun.
Yeah,
and then late game it can be just a
little
lot.
too. Yeah, okay. It's been a good deck though, dude. Like apart from the longer turns.
We'll see what Mon Horizons 2 has for Izzet commanders.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe we'll get Zaffy out of there.
Yeah, okay.
And go towards
Zaffy's like a great card though.
He's a great card. Yeah,
it's hard
it's a lot of upkeep on him.
Yeah, but like that potential, like she wants you to throw spells. That's what you're doing anyway. She's rewarding you for it. It's kind of nice. Definitely one of the better ones, I think. At that point.
What are you thinking of your guy, the Silver Quill?
Silver Quill, I really liked. What I didn't like is the 1/1 counters, and the only reason this is more just me
personal play style.
Yeah, it's just kind of like if it's going to be a politics deck, I want it to be a politics deck. I don't want it to be a politics deck that creates its own threats. Because as a politics player, you're already a threat, and people already kind of want to take you down a peg or two. Yeah, just because you're manipulating the table in a sense.
I see what you mean. I see where it's like a bit of a conflict. I think they wanted to design a card that it can politic. Yeah, but you'll also have like, if I'm doing all this work, how am I going to win?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think the politics is more fun. Than creating 1/1 counters. Yeah. It was interesting to mix them both, but like the idea of the politics deck is you want to be one of the last players on the field. You kind of want to be, aiming for second, and then at that point, you just need to beat whoever's first. Okay. So like that, last game we played, I had 3 board wipes in my hand that I just kept in there for maybe 7 turns. Okay. Because I was basically like, okay, once I get to the end game, I wipe the other person out, and then I just swing through with whatever damage I have and try and whittle them down with a better board, essentially. So,
is it a deck you're going to keep? Maybe commander you're changing?
Yeah. The commander, I think, incentivizes people attacking other people, so I kind of do want to keep that around. Whether or not there'll be a better one is up for debate, I guess. But I think I'll keep her around.
Cool.
Yeah, not too bad. Let's hit the legends, bro.
Last legend of the week.
Let's talk about some OG champions
that
have been forgotten, lost to time. This guy has pretty much no decks on EDH Rec.
Wow.
He is the Skyfire Kirin.
Yeah, Skyfire Kirin.
The art is awesome. It's 2 and 2 red for a 3/3 flying, and it has the
Kirin Spirit.
Kirin Spirit, yeah. It has the text of whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, you may gain control of target creature and you with that spell's converted mana cost until the end of turn.
I like that.
It's
Until
kind of
end
interesting.
of turn.
Yeah, so it's
I
basically
wish
like
it
a
did say
mutiny.
instant or sorcery. I really do.
Arcane or spirit.
Yeah, if it said instant or sorcery, God.
Yes, the errata would have been. Yeah. So I kind of looked at this and I just thought, yeah, that seems a bit dumb because it's limited in some ways.
Yeah, but if you stack your deck with I see the potential.
Yeah, it's one of them ones where it's kind of like if you've got a good sack outlet and you can just play spells that are going to help you anyway, and you're also going to take something away from an opponent, you have it till the end of turn, then you can sack it. So the way I was kind of looking at it was that you can kind of double your value on things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you play...
you know what? Put a sack outlet there as well. Gain control of them, use them and abuse them, and sack them.
Yeah. So you could let's say what's it, lava axe? I think it's a 5 cost.
Okay.
Something like that. I'll have to double check. It does a bunch of damage. Anyway. So you cast that, get something with 5 CMC onto your side of the field, swing with it. So basically you've killed one thing, you grab the 5 CMC thing, swing with it, either kill something else that's blocking, do some damage, or it dies anyway. Yeah. And then if you've got the sack outlet and it doesn't die, you sack it. So you're kind of like eliminating 2 potential threats at once. I know Lava Axe isn't a arcane spell, but there is alternatives.
Does that mean spirit spell or like a spirit
creature? Yeah.
Now, there's a few ways around that. You got Maskwood Nexus, which makes everything a certain type of creature.
Yeah, that's
so you can make everything spirits.
Yeah.
And then cast whatever you want.
Yeah. There's also
so I think if we were to like make this guy probably like a modern commander.
Yeah.
I think he would be same as he is, flying, and it would be whenever you play a instant or sorcery spell, you may take control of a creature, it gains haste until end of turn.
Yeah, that bump the power level up a bit.
Yeah. I think that would make it like you know, I think a couple hundred decks on EDH right that way.
Yeah. The other thing about it was that I was kind of like thinking is that it's kind of cheap. Like 4 for 3/3 is not too bad with the flying. You could add it as a Voltron as an additional part of the strategy. Buff it up, but while you're buffing it, you're gaining control of other stuff at the same time until the end of turn.
Yeah, playing enchantments.
Instead of running spells that are just kind of willy-nilly, try and focus it a little bit more onto buffing and stuff like that. So that could potentially...
And if they ever do release another Kamigawa set, we'll be set.
That's right, dude. Yeah, exactly. Get a few more arcanes in it and you'll be laughing.
All right, we're ready for Tzu Says. And he says, to know your enemy, you must become your enemy.
Now, this is following back up with the one a couple of weeks ago about learning the other opponent's decks and stuff.
Before or after Tzu got syphilis and very sick?
I think he's older than syphilis. So, when I saw this, I was like, okay, how do you become your enemy? And I was like, use their decks.
Yeah.
Play with your table mates' decks.
Learn their weaknesses. Learn their fears.
Yeah. Ask them to help deck build. Get an insight.
Wow. Hey, can you help me with your free time so I can screw you over?
Need a little help with that new deck you're drafting? Let me have a look at it. I'll help you out. Listen, I was thinking more like Fabian's got some fun decks. I have barely any idea what they do.
Yeah.
I should play 1 or 2 of them one night and try and get the hang of it and see what the overall objectives are and everything like that. If you're playing a lot of games like us, and you don't have a lot of decks, or your table doesn't have a lot of decks, or you're reasonably new, well, I'm sure we swapped decks a lot in the beginning. Yeah, like back in the day when we first started, and that was a good way to just kind of you're getting up to speed because you're playing a larger variety of stuff. You can see what you like and everything like that. But B, it does give you a bit of an insight as to like how they're building their decks, how they're getting, what kind of cards they're looking for. We'll look at commanders and build things in completely different directions, like we just discussed previously with Obeka. So like this is a big thing of like, if you're getting a hold of what they're doing and having a really good look at it and understanding it, then you'll kind of get an idea of their goals and what they're hoping to achieve out of the game, which is can be kind of important, I guess, overall.
Get those deck lists. Study those deck lists.
Yeah. Listen, it's a good idea to get hold of everyone's deck list. Sharing's caring, guys. Let's move on to the 3 U's of success, Nick.
3 U's.
I've picked a wide variety of cards here. The first one I wanted to add in last week, but unfortunately, last week's one kind of did the same thing almost. So this one kind of felt like I'll save it for another week. We'll leave it for next time. So the text is Honor the Fallen. It's a Mercadian Mask rare. It's 1 and a white for an instant. Remove all creature cards in all graveyards from the game. You gain 1 life for each creature removed this way.
Cool card. Great card.
Yeah.
Scavenging Grounds is 2 to kind of exile all cards, but getting rid of the creature card stops the recursions. That's nice.
So yeah, I was definitely, when I was thinking about this, was kind of thinking about like your Muldrothas, your Mimeoplasms, anything that's kind of drawing on power, even specific cards like Night Howler, or White of Precinct 13 or whatever it is, White of Precinct 6. They're all relying on creatures being in graveyards, and this just eliminates that as a problem. So if you've got guys at your table that recursion's a big like aspect of the game. Yeah. I think Kidrog Monsters basically lands, right? He doesn't care about creatures. Lands in there. Okay, so there's obviously it's not going to work for every recursion deck, but there's a lot of recursion decks out there. This card's like 25 cents or something like that. It's pretty cheap. Not only are you exiling all them creatures, you're also gaining a little life. And for nice. 2, that's pretty cheap. Yeah. Like, what's the Scavenging Grounds
Each
activated?
2 sacrifice the Scavenging Grounds. So
okay. So you're kind of like losing a land. Yeah. And you're paying.
And that's exiling all cards. But it's a great, good card. Good little card.
It's not too bad, yeah.
Especially if you're pinging life or you got some sort of thing that you get bonuses for life gain.
Yeah. Then we got Crack the Earth. Now, the reason I put this one in was because, as with the Commander, this is an arcane spell. 1 red. It's a sorcery, so you have to do it on your turn, but that's not a big deal for you. Yeah. So if you've got the Commander out and you play this on like turn 2 or something like that, try and steal a Mana Dork or something that's a one drop essentially. Each player sacrifices a permanent. This is the thing, is that the Commander would trigger. You'll be able to steal the Mana Dork. And then it says each player sacrifices a permanent. Yeah. So then you can sacrifice the Dork.
Gain control of a Soul Ring and then sack it. Each player sacrifices a permanent, and then they'll be getting rid of a land or an arcane signet or a
they'll
Soul
be
Ring.
Burning one of their foundational early game moves. So obviously that like kind of hinges a little bit, but even in the later game, best case scenario or like worst case scenario for an opponent, depending on how you look at it, they're going to sack a land. Yeah. Even like later, it's still not going to hurt if you're wiping a land off the field. So yeah, kind of undervalued. It's a fun little card. Yeah. Cheap as chips, which moves us onto our under $1 Nick. What do we got?
Garruk, Primal Hunter, 2 and 3 green, legendary planeswalk, Garruk. He starts off with 3 loyalty. First one is a +1, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Neg 3. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. And a neg 6, create a 6/6 green worm creature for each land you control. So rad card.
This guy's always been way above $1. Like kind of at least $3 or $4. Okay. But the latest printing from the new Commander decks, he's dropped down to like 96 cents. So like for under $1, that's a sweet pickup. So good. Yeah, I think if you're running a green deck,
I have him in my green deck.
Yeah,
that neg 3 is just a Soul's Majesty. It's a Soul's Majesty.
Exactly.
It's a great card.
And he can like even for some reason if you're putting him out turn 5 and you got nothing else, he's creating himself a blocker immediately. Like a lot of you want that in a Commander. Someone like Tevish is a great example of this. He creates 2 little blockers there that are just going to stop people messing with him, and that's one thing that like some planeswalkers just don't have, which is. Yeah, upsetting.
Able to protect themselves.
Yeah.
He's very good, and he's buffed. He's so buffed.
Yeah, and under $1, dude. Like this is the only time I think in 3 months he won't be under $1 anymore. I don't think. But so get in now. Ripped. While the prices are low. Yeah. Main topic for the week, Nick. When we discussed this initially, Nick, you were kind of like, we've talked about this a bit before.
Casual versus competitive. We're back on the horse. We're beating it to death this week. Why is casual better than competitive. Not why we play it, not the differences or the cons or negs, cons or pros, but why is it better from our perspective? Why we prefer casual to competitive?
Yeah, let's
we won't talk about the things we did last week, which is price and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we don't want this to be a is budget better, because like technically you can have very competitive budget decks.
Yeah, Niv Mizzet is like $100 deck, and I don't think you can even put anything better in it just to do the 1/2 card combos.
Yeah, and you can go infinite with a bunch of really cheap cards.
You can go infinite with one card at a time. Yeah,
even Mitch's he had that artifact deck that was only like $140 or something like that, and it was just like
I think they
win a lot.
I think I've heard on the CDH Reddit when people come in and say, like I'm on a budget, people just say Niv Mizzet, do a Niv Mizzet.
Yeah,
deck.
okay.
It's competitive as enough.
So competitive, what we're talking about is basically like the higher echelons of the power scale. We're kind of talking about getting up there to your 8s and 9s and 10s essentially, without costs being a factor at this point. Yeah. So we're just purely talking about like why we think games at like a power level 5 would be more enjoyable to the layman or average person than a top level game. So first of all, like casual downfalls, there is problems with playing casual.
Yeah.
Time consuming, like the games can take an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. If
you show the pieces that you need, and they can drag on sometimes.
Yeah, and board wipes will often completely reset the game. It's very hard to
set up the win for someone if the answers.
It's very hard to rebuild quickly when you're playing casual. So there is definitely some kind of downfalls there. Politics, I think, is much more of a factor at a casual level compared to competitive.
At the competitive level, you're just looking at winning, and no one's going to kind of question.
No one is interested in making deals or anything like that. You're just playing for yourself. And then it seems to be a trend with the internet of constantly one-upping everything. So like when I first started playing Magic, you just play Magic to have fun. Power levels and all that was never a debate. If someone brought a really strong deck, you just kind of build to meet that person. When you're online, everyone's like, no, most optimum possible card combination is this, and this. Like, it's always like the extreme of everything. So finding like good advice for casual players can be quite hard to get. I think a lot of the time it just gets lumped in with budget, which isn't really fair, I don't think, but it just kind of seems to be the way it is. So it is hard to find, kind of alternative cards to
that's
your
not
competitive
like a
mainstays.
$50-$60 card. That's the optimal card for your deck.
Yeah, and people are going to be like, no, that's not optimal. There's a lot of this like, why have you put that in when this is one mana less, so it does the same kind of thing. And it's just, look, it might be thematically you want it, whatever reason. So, there is a few downfalls when it comes to casual. But on the positive side, Nick, it's more nuanced. So this
Explain yourself.
This is one of them things, dude, where the command zones are, I think, a great example of this, where they get decks and they pull the same cards out all the time. You're kind of getting these repetitive staples that just fill the decks up, and
that might be part due to tutors as well. You're always going to pull the same pieces out.
Because I think like what that ends up doing is it basically ends up making you look like you're playing the same deck with 20 different cards rather than the same 100 card deck with 60 different cards essentially. So I think like you can really, when you're building at a casual level, you get to express yourself a lot more in the deck building, which is a lot of fun. It kind of sucks when you I don't know if everyone's the same, probably not, but like you don't want to just look up a deck and just be like, all right, sweet, I'll buy every 100 of these exact same cards.
Yeah, copy paste it.
Yeah. And I'll just do what everybody else is doing.
Like I have enough feel with it for the precon. I don't mind doing it, but I like putting my own splash into it or taking it in another direction. But the deck building process is like something that in the casual you should really kind of learn to do. Really kind of build your own deck. If you consider playing.
I think we'll touch on that maybe next week, like a 101 on getting into it. So as with the more nuance, like when I remember watching a Command Zone thing and talking about tribal decks, and they're like, okay, well, if you're going to do a tribal
low power,
no, they're just like, okay, so just like try and add only 10 to 15 cards that are part of that tribe, and it's like, What are you talking about? If you're going to make like a tribal deck and it's themed in a particular way, try and get every card to match that theme. Like 10 to 15 cards. Yeah. That feels
you're probably going to... you're like, in terms of power level, you'll be shooting yourself in the foot. But, for the cool factor. And then that's why casual's cool. Looking at cards, getting the stuff that you need.
Yeah. But that's like ultimately why casual we think is better, because like it's more fun to have a fun deck that has like 35 fucking tree folk in it, even though tree folk are shit. You know what I mean? Like, why would I want 10? The odds of seeing them, you might see 2 a game if you're lucky. If you're running 30, that's 1 in every 3 cards, dude. You're gonna see 5 or 6 on the board.
Have that stuff. And if you want to do like a little bit higher level power, then pick a commander that'll let you do that benefits. Like you got like the Dragon,
Morphon or
Morphon, Dragon, Magda, who will be
that's a good one.
Which one was Brian's playing last Wednesday? That Dragon deck he was running.
Dragon deck.
Yeah, he was running a Dragon deck.
Wasn't that the Dragon?
Might have been Dragon. Yeah, Dragon.
I think Dragon. Yeah. You can even do slithers to an extent.
Slithers,
at a lower price level. So then, I guess the other thing that this leads to ultimately is you have these metas that, because of the variety of cards and the lower power level, you kind of like let's face it. If you're playing competitive, the card pool out of the 20,000 cards that you're going to be using in a deck shrinks dramatically.
Need your shawl ring, need this, need that.
So you might have like, I think like competitively there might be like, let's say 2,000 cards that would be considered parts of competitive decks, compared to 20,000. So when you get to casual, like the meta is so much more diverse. Because like I don't know if it's just me, but when I watch playing with power, it always, like, even though they have different commanders, the games seem to be the same kinds of games over and over and over again.
Yeah, I just saw a game where they just like pulled out no dissing to playing power.
No, we love them guys. We love the guys a lot. They're awesome.
Pull out a Godo and then straight away it's into
Helm of the Host.
And then win.
Yeah. And like that's fine if that's what you just want to do, but like it's boring to a degree, like we've definitely had we've had crazy games where the board's just full of bizarre stuff and weird things are happening, and it kind of leads to these really dynamic and fun environments, I guess. And then like it's cheaper to play casual. Ultimately, cost is always a factor. Listen, if cost wasn't important, businesses wouldn't exist. So there is a few kind of nice reasons. Can you think of anything else, Nick, that you'd like to throw in there? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
I guess being able to play the commanders that you want. You might be able to build a fun deck around a commander that might not be particularly strong, but you really enjoy the flavor of it all. Yeah. Or the art.
Dude, let's even just put that, like playing for flavor specifically. Like, I know it kind of ties in a lot of the time with tribal or thematics, but like, just like picking, like I picked the white, blue, black guy just because I like the flavor text. That's the only reason he's my commander. I barely even play him as the commander. Yeah. He's just there because I thought he was cool. I built a deck around him. So it's definitely...
give yourself more wiggle room to be creative and be like, oh, this is my commander. Wow, look at that. You don't really see a lot of that guy.
And you're playing a custom game. You should be able to express yourself. I think that's the when you pursue perfection, it narrows down how wide your approach to that perfection. It kind of really whittles it down. So I kind of like it with a lot of different options. It's nice. All right, let's hit Machiavelli.
Mastering.
We've been to China for strategy. Time to hit up the Italians. See what they got to say.
What wisdom will they impart?
So, mastering Machiavelli this week, where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great.
Explain yourself. Explain Machiavelli to me.
So, wherever anybody's willing to help out, there's not going to be much difficulty to achieve that goal.
Oh, okay.
So, this is a big thing of like, once again, Machiavelli loves politics. So he is basically saying at this point, like, try and get people at the table on your side and get them to see the threats that are going to potentially be coming. Because if you say to, like, an obvious example is Kalia. I know we pick on Kalia a lot, but she is incredibly strong.
Yeah. Or tracks or something like that.
Yeah. So the idea is that like if 3 people at the table are all aware of what Kalia can do, they're not going to let her do her thing.
Yeah.
And you may, as a player by yourself, have 2 murders in your hand, like, which is great. But with 3 people, there's potentially 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And that goes a really long way.
Yeah.
So basically, like, try and get people onto your side with certain issues or threats. And then once they're on your side, like, you know, just... you see it on Command Zone.
Yeah.
They'll team up to take Josh down because he's pulled a ridiculous
and just
combat
put him in the corner for a little bit. And,
yeah. So yeah, but basically,
I think a lot of people are doing this already. But yeah, this is a good vocalization of that, where everyone kind of mutually agrees on a threat.
Yeah,
yeah. Just help to pull the resources to kind of whittle it down a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. And it'll occur organically a lot of the time, but definitely like it doesn't hurt to kind of like put the wheels in motion if you see something coming a couple of turns away. That was a funny example recently on the game episode 5, I think, of our season with Briansy pulling off the Biovisionary win.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just like, we probably should have seen something like that
really,
coming.
Yeah,
he had enough
spot removed straight away.
Or even the fact that like he had the Adrix and Nev down, he had the other Quadrix commander down, and he had the Adaphage. Like if he had
really
a
rider us out. He makes us sound so bad.
Well, if he had a like rider replication to even the worm, it would have been game over.
Yeah.
If he had so there was that board was. I don't think we had looked at it for what it was, and you had a decent board, and Fabian had a decent board at that point, but like. Briansy clearly just ended up scooping a win quite easily.
Strong.
Yeah, up to 87 cents.
87, the climb.
The market watch. Speaking of recurring themes, free Lootry. This is the 5th episode, and it's as if we have no pull in the community at all.
They're releasing Is It Precons, and Lootry sits in prison. No wonder...
the true king of Is It.
No wonder Anastasia Palaszczuk stayed in jail for so long.
Oh my god. She's a premier of the state, bro. Did she go to jail at all?
Oh my god, I just said the wrong name. Who's that lady who went to
Corby?
Corby, yeah, Chappelle Corby. God.
The boogie board, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Alright, let's hit the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're coming towards the end of the session.
Alright, the good, which you've recommended me to before, which is Awake the Ancient.
This is one of my favourite cards in Standard ever.
Yeah. 1 and 3 red. It's an enchantment or Enchanted Mountain. Enchanted Mountain is a 7/7 red giant creature, and it's still a land, and it has haste. And flavor text. And it looks cool.
The flavor text is, some days you stand to greet the horizon. Other days, the horizon stands to greet you.
Classic.
Yeah.
Giant talk.
Classic flipping around, and the guy's just crawling up out of the clouds. This card can create such havoc. Because you can have, like, on turn 5, essentially with red, you have 5 mountains down, especially if you're playing mono red, and you might not have much on the board, and then all of a sudden you got a 7/7 with haste. It kind of comes out of nowhere.
Kaboom.
Now, obviously, it being a land makes it more prone to removal.
Yeah. High risk, high reward.
But at the same time, like, it's just a lot of fun to throw it out there. It's just one of them cards where I just... Every time I get it in my hand and I'm playing mono red or something like that, I'm just like, I can't. I'm going to pick the exact right time, and I'm going to slap this bad boy down, swing at someone for 7. It's going to be awesome. Definitely, probably more of a standard card than
because then it's only a few swings. 2 or 3 from you out.
And like red doesn't typically have really high. Like 7/7. 7/7 for red's a little unusual. Like green and blue, yes, you kind of see that kind of thing coming. But with red, a lot of time people are just like they're expecting 1/1s or 2/2s or 3/3s. So this guy can kind of surprise people as well out of the blue.
Moving on to the bad.
The bad Bulwark. It is 3 and 2 red, so 5 CMC for an enchantment. During your upkeep, Bulwark deals 1 damage to target opponent for each card in your hand greater than the number of cards in that player's hand. Now this is bad because it costs 5.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a lot of cards in your hand. You need to pick somebody that doesn't have any. Is that right? Am I getting the right?
Yeah. So it's the difference in card number, I believe.
Yes. So you're red. Like if you're splashing blue, then maybe you'll have a decent hand size.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the table with 4 people, the odds are someone else is playing blue as well. Like, I just can't see this card doing more than 2 or 3 damage a turn.
That's a weird one in
for
red
5.
because you have to have more cards.
Yes, yeah.
It's unfortunate that's not the difference in cards. Otherwise, you may
Yeah, because then you could just dump your hand out and then hope that somebody else has 5 or 6 in their hand. Like, it's just so situational.
And
I think that's
in with some blue.
Yeah. So this is one of them cards where it's like, I think like when I was looking at bad, I'm like, okay, what cards seem good but only work in very niche situations?
Yeah.
Because this is that card, and that it's bad in every other situation.
Yeah, it's just weird that it's in red as well. Oh, I guess it's direct damage, but yeah, unfortunately bad.
So I think like to improve it, maybe have it as a 2-drop.
2-drop.
Something you put out early. Try and, like while you still have a decent sized hand, I guess. Or play blue and a lot of card draw. That could be another option. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Yeah. It could have been better.
Now we're moving on to the ugly, which is also a great card.
Yeah.
Skeletal Grimace, a 1 and a black enchantment aura. A lot of this is the week of enchantments.
It is.
Enchanted creature gets a 1/1 and has
theme going.
Oh. Pay 1 swamp to regenerate this creature. Beautiful card.
And it gets +1/+1.
Yeah, +1/+1 and has regenerate this creature for 1 swamp.
This is a great commander protector, especially if you're doing like a Voltron strategy or something like that.
They still keep the auras on them when they die and they regenerate. It's as if they never left.
Yeah. And the art is horrifying. The idea of the Grimace is that the skin is parted back to the under the chin and to the top of the forehead.
Right to the ears.
How horrifying is that, man? When I saw this card, I was like, I can't believe they're printing these.
Yeah, there's some of those Innistrad cards are like terrifying.
Proper horror style. Yeah, so this is definitely like very macabre, I guess.
Yeah.
Not for little kids to look at. Let's put it that way. It's horrifying.
Yeah. David's just awakened as ancient. He was looking at me with a funny look.
And I didn't want to just pick. I know we picked on the artist a little bit last week with the bad, but like I didn't want to. Listen, artists work hard, right, buddy?
Some do. We don't need to talk about the recent Mystical Archives.
No.
Did you see that one?
The faithless looting.
No, there's the one with there's one with Ugin and Bolos.
Oh, when they copied someone else's art?
They just took it and then just moved all the things around.
Yeah.
So that should be the ugly card for next week. We might put that on and just trash that person.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
As if the community isn't mad enough.
Yeah.
Let's whip them up into a frenzy, Nick.
There's nothing like
You've seen the pool
lighting the bonfire.
You've seen the pool we've got, Nick. At one single drop of gasoline.
For little tinders.
And I think that's it for this week, guys.
Awesome. Another successful episode.
Please, as we beg every week, no one watches this long, but if you do, recommend stuff for us. We'll do your
like and subscribe.
Do all that fun stuff.
We're playing live 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Wednesday
nights.
And we do
won't be Wednesday
this
for you, though, most of the time.
No, and we do this Friday nights. Which is Friday morning in Europe.
Yeah.
England. And who the fuck knows in the US?
It'll be on YouTube. You can watch it whenever you want.
You can watch it whenever you want. And shout out suggestions. Let us know what you want to see, what kind of content.
Send us whatever.
I should say all this stuff at the start so people actually, listen.
Send us whatever you want.
We're doing a Rudy where it's like, no one's watching this late. I'll give you all the secrets.
Yeah. Invest in...
Oh, God. We can't provide financial advice. Bye, visionary.
I have no money, so I have no skin in the game.
I have no ethics. It's kind of the same thing.
All right, see you guys next week.
See ya.